morning, everybody. Welcome to Conscious Straight Talk with Katie and Lindsey.
Hi, my name is Katie Hutchinson, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I'm also a certified mediator. And happy Hump Day or Wednesday.
Okay, that's right. I'm Lindsey Kearns. I'm the mama behind MalibuMamaLoves.com, and I'm also a conscious certified trauma-informed life coach. From crimes of passion to dowries of death, honor killing is the traditional practice of killing a family member who is thought to bringing upon shame or guilt to the family, or might be doing it in the future. Sadly, this is a practice that's still in use today, as we just had about 25 of these killings reported in the US last year. However, overseas, in Asia, in Europe, in England, in Africa, we are seeing hundreds of people, usually women, being subjected to these honor killings.
Yes. Honor killings are often connected to religion, to caste systems like in Hinduism, and to other forms of hierarchical societal pressures. Most often, it involves the murder of a woman or a girl by a family member who's usually male. This is because the perpetrator believes that the victim has brought dishonor or shame or embarrassment upon the family name, reputation, or prestige. Or they fear that they're about to do this, so they've got to kill them before this happens.
Absolutely. Sadly, honor killings are around. Just a couple of months ago, right? It made all the headlines in the news. This was over in Spain. There were two sisters living there that had dual citizenship for Spain and Pakistan. Now, their husbands tricked them into traveling back to Pakistan so that they could murder them. Their husbands. They were wanting to get a divorce from their Pakistani husbands so that they could marry in Spain and just stay in Spain and never have to go back. So their husbands, whom, interestingly, both sisters were forced to marry so that they could get citizenship in Spain as well. The men could get it. And they're also their cousins. They were forced into this. So to save themselves from the shame of this divorce, this impending, humiliation that we're going to be getting a divorce, he killed them. Both of them.
This happens a lot where they're lured back to their birthplace or where the family's birthplace
is. And
in
this case in Pakistan, the laws are different. Even though in 2016 they changed legislation so that there are no more loopholes in the law that allow culprits to walk free in the country's deeply patriarchal society. They can't walk around anymore after they kill you. They'll get in trouble. It's called an honor killing. It's an offense. They're going to jail for a couple of days, months, I'm not sure.
No, a couple of days, if even that.
But, seriously, this is going on now. It's scary.
Yeah. So another example of an honor killing is a story about two sisters. Their names were Amina and Sarah Saeed. And this happened in Texas. And they had an American mom who just was very submissive, just very, very submissive. And they had an Iraqi father. I believe it was an Iraqi father. And so these girls were born here in America and just more Americanized. And the father was obsessed with these girls. He followed them everywhere. I feel like he was obsessed with them in a sexual manner. In fact, it came out that he molested them. So it makes sense. He was like in love with them. It was really kind of creepy. So the oldest went to karate classes and she met this boy and they fell in love and they kept it very hidden on the down low, whatever else. Somehow the dad finds out because he's following them 24/7 and he decides that he's got to kill them. So the mother was against it and she actually took them and ran away. And then she was talked back into coming home by the father and the brother just saying, oh, we're just going to be upset with them, but nothing's going to happen, et cetera, et cetera. The girls come home, brought by their lovely mother, and the father takes them on a drive a couple days later, and in a hotel parking lot, he shoots them both. And the oldest daughter, Sarah, she called 911 and was like, help us, my dad just shot us, we're dying. They didn't get there in time, they did end up dying. The father went on the run. He was on the FBI's most wanted list, and he actually was not caught for 12 years because this was in 2008, and he wasn't caught until 2020.
Yeah.
So I hope he has a miserable time in prison. Lots of bad things happened to him.
I hope they locked him up and threw that key away. These stories are just heartbreaking. Can you believe this is still going on today? Like some people live in this culture regularly.
Yep.
I can't imagine what these girls are going through as they're being raised in this culture, seeing it happen to aunts, cousins, family members here and there, and knowing you could be next at any time.
Yep, they're terrified. Death, molestation, rape, financial abuse, genital mutilation. And like I said, these people are just terrified. It's a very plausible fact that for many women around the world, this could happen.
Mm-hmm. I know that also many suicides are classified under honor killings as well, because suicide is actually forbidden in the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
And so many times a suicide will take place and the family will try to cover it up with an honor killing, and someone will just take the offense and, deal with it to cover up for the families. But at least the leaders of the American Muslim community have condemned honor killings. Mm-hmm. Many Muslim leaders in the U.S. say that Islam does not promote honor killings and that the practice stems from sexism and tribal behavior that actually predates the religion.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're always going to have problems in a chauvinistic society.
Mm-hmm.
And gender discrimination happens in a very patriarchal society. Not that it doesn't happen here in a different way, right?
Yeah.
But this is really extreme.
And as we evolve, as we talk more about it, as we awaken, these things can and will change, but it just takes time. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's, progress is tough. We'll take one step forward and two steps back.
Yep. Just like how women's rights have come so far, but now we've decided to overturn Roe versus Wade. We've gone back 50 years in the United States. It's like we don't have control over our bodies. We don't. We don't have control in many of the states, 22 or whatever it is. Yeah. And many are changing. It's scary. But I mean, how can we call attention to these, more attention to these honor killings?
Well, in February of 2009, the Muslim leaders answered you.
Oh, good.
They began a nationwide unified effort entitled Domestic Violence Will Not Be Tolerated in Our Communities, asking all religious leaders to discuss these topics, specifically domestic violence, but honor killings, genital mutilation, all of these things that they deal with in weekly sermons or their Friday prayer service, so that it is being brought up in a healthy way, so that it's not okay to do these acts anymore. Yeah. And soon after that, Muslim Men Against Domestic Violence came about, which, I mean, it's fantastic to see these men standing up and saying, this is not a healthy way of life. This is not okay to do.
Yeah.
So talking about it, talking about it is the way to create the change.
Yeah.
Doing these campaigns, getting involved in these campaigns, sharing this video around so people can see it.
And it's wonderful that it's not just female activists, because a lot of females will come over here and they're activists, that we're seeing men saying this is not okay.
Yep.
In 2012, Zuhdi Jasser of the think tank American Islamic Forum for Democracy argued that honor killings were a phenomenon in the U.S. that needs to be investigated, that's been ignored. In 2015, senior fellow of the Center for Advanced Studies on Terrorism stated that the actual number of honor killings was higher than the reported statistics due to a reluctance to embarrass relatives of the deceased or just any of the family members.
Yeah. Many honor killings actually are planned by multiple members of the family, even sometimes in like a formal family council.
Yeah.
They'll vote on it and they'll decide what to do and how to handle the situation. It's rooted in a deep need to control and hide even anything that brings shame or guilt to the family or community in one or two people's opinion, usually.
Yeah, and in this family meeting, it's usually all males, not usually females that are included in that. The threat of murder is used as a means to control behavior. I mean, personally, that would stop me.
Yep.
Especially concerning sexuality and marriage in regards to women, which may be seen as a duty for some or all family members to uphold.
Yeah.
Also helps them financially a lot of times. So that's a big piece of it.
Family members may feel compelled to act to preserve the reputation of the family in that community and avoid stigma or shunning or, being embarrassed in any way, particularly in the more tight-knit communities, the smaller communities. Shame and guilt, as we know, we talk about it on this show all the time, it really can cause us to do some heinous things. And that's why talking about this subject is so important. This is how we can open up our hearts and our minds to healing, is talking about it and sharing this information.
Yeah, and jealousy is a big one too. That's a real problem. Plus, perpetrators often do not face any negative stigma within their communities because their behavior is seen as justified, as these women are thought to be easy or uncontrollable.
Right. Uncontrollable. Yeah. I can't imagine growing up in fear like this. Have you ever met anybody or do you know anybody that has dealt with?
Yes. So
like
I
this?
have a former friend, and this person is from, I think she's
I think
from
it's Iraq.
Yes, Iraq.
Yeah.
And she met an older boyfriend, and she basically told me that she was doing everything sexually with this older boyfriend on the down low, but having actual sex.
Vaginal sex.
Yeah, because you have to be a virgin when you get married. And I said to her, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe you took this chance. I was like, well, what would have happened? Because she was very close to her father, very, very close, like much closer than the brothers were to the father. She was much closer. And she just matter of factly said, well, if my father found out or my brothers found out, they would have killed me. And just very matter of factly. And I was like, are you serious?
That's because that's like what we were saying. It's a way of life for them.
No.
They don't know any different.
Well, why take the chance? I wouldn't be into taking
I
the
wouldn't
chance.
be taking
No.
a chance either,
No,
but
thank
still, you know, it's a scary thing. You guys reach out. We want to hear your stories. Share this video so that we can get the word out there. People need to know about these honor killings and talk about them.
Yeah.
Spark the conversation. If you are in a group today talking to a bunch of friends or something, bring it up.
Because a lot of people just don't even know about this at all. So
yeah, and there
we're
are
talking about
women like we just pointed out that are living this way and don't know any different, whereas we're getting to have all these freedoms. You know,
Yeah,
it's partially
compared to
our
them.
responsibility to help and do what we can do and at least be aware of it. Right?
I totally agree.
All right, you guys, happy Wednesday, and we will see you right back here on Friday. Have a great day. Bye.